Welcome to The Advisory, the first and last advice show on the internet where we answer questions to learn a little bit more about what it means to be human. All advice is final and legally binding. I'm power posing, James. I hear that helps with confidence. And you're going to need some bloody confidence this week, mate. Let me tell you. Because this week, we're going to bite our bosses. We're going to learn about workplace culture. And we're going to revisit one of the most preeminent Peeping Tom stories of my life to see if you remember it. So that's what we got coming up this week. Now, James, before we get into some advice, some crunchy advice, could we see the legal disclaimer, please?
I think we're definitely going to need it, particularly sort of the Peeping Tom stuff that you were sort of just mentioned. I'm just going to play it. Before we say anything else that can get us in trouble legally.
We should just play it.
They are, I can see you, cunt. I can see you tapping the windows saying, do it now. Okay. The lawyers, dude. These lawyers,
I'm just very aggressive.
The following show features goofs performed either by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. Accordingly, Black Swan Society and the idiots in front of you must insist that no one attempt to actually follow any advice spewed into the world on this show.
Now, you made a radical suggestion, James, at the top of the show, which is we could do the feature question first. Which
Dude,
it's like, whoa.
I know.
Whoa.
It's a crazy concept for us here. Quite frankly, immediately getting into advice is an insane concept for this podcast.
Doing advice on this advice podcast, kind of insane.
This advice podcast is almost not about advice. That's how little we do of it. So I thought we would really shake things up this week. Yeah. And someone's going to be driving in their car listening to this episode in the audio medium because they can't bloody get enough of audio podcasts. They haven't transcended into the digital plane that is video. But they heard that we were going to do advice early, and they've sort of been swiveling all over the road. Potential
we might have caused
crash,
an accident.
But that's why we have the disclaimer. So
yeah. Also, just like to say, if that did happen, not our fault. But I would understand if it did, because what a shocking twist in this late hour of the advisory sort of
I would like to say
canon.
Not our fault. Not my fault.
Yep.
Not sure if David's responsible or not. Is all
it was your idea to do the. If it's anyone's fault, I don't want to point fingers. But if it were to be someone's fault, 'twould not be me. 'Twould not. Twouldn't.
Yeah, I don't want to blame at this point because I do think that we should get into the advice section. But I do think that someone whose fault it is would say that it's not their fault.
Oh,
to skirt sort of responsibility.
Right, you're going for the smelt it defense. You fucking liar. So
whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. All I'm going to say is innocent parties don't lash out as viciously as David just did. So
now, James, I think you'll find that isn't true based on this feature question. So
okay.
What I would say, you haven't read this, have you? You just kind of vamped on my title a bit. You spiced it up. You don't know what this one's about.
Just fucking blew a little bit of spice on it. That's all I did.
Okay. Well, you might want to strap in. If you have the ability to strap in. With your setup, do you sort of have a seatbelt?
Hold on, let me just get the seatbelt that I have on my chair, and I'm just going to keep it below the webcam, but you'll know that it's definitely there, and that's in. All right, I'm good to go.
Wow, okay. Very silent seatbelt, I've noticed. No kind of clicking. Is that just the incredible audio gate that you have at work?
Yeah, that's just good live stream tech. That's all that is.
Yeah, that's all that is. James, this one we have title. You took my title and you spiced it up a bit. I would like to point out that the title on Reddit was "I Bit My Boss." That was literally the title of the advice on Reddit, and I could not. I simply couldn't let that go.
That's definitely the type of shit that I feel like would fly on Reddit. They feel like it feels like a place in which people really want to get down to business. No fluff, no faffing around. Tell me what it's about. Did you bite your boss? Yes. Put it in the fucking title.
Put it in the title. A lot of people they mix. We want to be shock anyone. We want to be trying consider. No, this person very very much on Front Street. What you see is what you get. So, James, this one is Biting Your Boss, an empowering survival guide to the workplace. And it is our feature question of episode 27.
And also a potential admission to a crime.
Depending on how you look at it, this could be, again, we're covered legally, but the question asker may be in some hot water.
Yeah, we're just relaying someone else's crime.
Digital Dana got our backs. We're good. We're fine. But this person, hot water maybe. James, let me ask you this. I work in an incredibly dysfunctional office. The tone is set by our office manager. He's in his 50s and has always worked in an office setting and is difficult. Things are right if it's in his favor and wrong if it's anyone else. He once cursed at me and called me a child for asking him not to say I'm prettier if I smile.
Yes, a very my way or the highway type approach to management. And I'm sorry.
The next sentence.
No. I'm gonna need you to run that previous sentence by me again, because I need people to hear what was just said, because that's insane.
He once cursed at me and called me a child for asking him not to say I'm pretty if I smile. So you've quite reasonably said, I don't want you to objectify me and say that I'm pretty when I smile. And he cursed at me and then didn't speak to me for a year. Which they point out was a relief. So, yeah. That's,
okay. I will say, it definitely sounds like someone that you would want to, this is definitely a type of person that you would want to take off your radar for a year. If I can fly under this piece of shit's radar for an entire year, I'm all for it.
Oh, that's the dream.
But I do love a manager bringing in any type. It's very much part of the discussion that's happening right now online as well, is people like sexualizing women when there's nothing inherently sexual happening. If I'm pretty or not pretty, if I smile or don't smile, fully go fuck yourself. The TPS reports are on your desk by 4:30 p.m. every day. Get off my fucking case. You grody weird piece of shit.
You little you little goblin. Yeah, it's cool. But also I love the idea that...
Wow, David.
Sorry.
This is the workplace, mate. All right?
Sorry.
Let's simmer it down a little bit. You're so vile. David, you're so vile. Why are we coming with such a dirty, vile boy energy today?
I've come in with such goblin energy today, James. We got some very complicated news at work, and I'm just a little goblin man right now. Okay? I'm just a little goblin man. So, that's just how it is. James,
sorry, did someone at your work ask you, David, could you please smile less? Because it's upsetting, actually. What do you say happy about, cunt? Smile less is what they said.
I thought you were going to say... Someone at work told me I was prettier if I smile.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. D-Mac, could you just smile a bit more? You're very pretty when you smile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, shout outs Yongo Piat in the chat. What's good? What's good, fam? Okay, so yesterday I had a meeting with a coworker. If it makes a difference, the office manager and I are on the same level as is the person I was meeting with. My hands were full of paperwork and a full mug. When I got to the coworker's office, the office manager was in the doorway, braced with one arm stretched across the opening, so kind of like leaning, on the wall kind of thing. I stopped and said, "Excuse me, I have a meeting," and he refused to move. He replied that he didn't give a shit and it wasn't his problem. The coworker, which is fucking insane.
That's so weird, dude. That's so weird.
It's not even your office either. So it's somebody else's office.
If you could you just move out of the way really quickly? I'm just gonna put something. Oi, dickhead! It's not even any of my fucking business. All right, jog on, cunt.
Not my problema.
That's a really weird. That's a weird place to take that. Yeah. Okay.
The coworker grimaced but said nothing, as is usual for our office. Yeah, this sounds like a really healthy workplace culture. Normally I'd sit and argue. Rarely I'm able to convince him to move. Wait, this happens more than what? Rarely I'm able to convince him to... This has happened before?
Right.
Oh my God. In those cases, I put down my things in the office and wait for the colleague and him to finish speaking. They don't work together or like each other, but they angry gossip frequently.
Okay. Got a little relationship built on hate.
Oh my God. This is it's kind of like our relationship. Built on hate. because we hate each other, and that's sort of the connective tissue that
Oh no, I
that
like
drives
you.
us.
Yeah. No. I'm a big fan of you. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I tell everyone that, you know.
Yeah,
When you're not around,
like,
I'm always like, oh, that
yeah.
Dave, what a great guy, you know.
Shit. I like
You've been saying something. You've been saying something similar about me to sort of.
Yeah, pretty sort of the same, almost the same word for word, actually. Kind of similar things
Like what?
I've been saying.
Like what? Yeah, but like what? If you could sort of just
Like,
recount to me something that
like
you've
examples
said about me to someone else, and sort of and nothing based on something that I've said. So.
I'm always saying it, so this should be easy to just kind of like pluck an example out of the.
Yeah, definitely. Just hit me with like the first one that comes to mind.
I would sort of say James is what do you D-Mac, what do you think of James? And I kind of go, yeah, he's a good bloke. That yeah, he goes all right. Sort of something like that is what I might say.
He goes all right is what you use.
He goes all right. You know, yeah.
Right. Nothing sort of specific, just sort of a general sort of.
Just sort of a general. He goes. I know James. That sort of thing.
Yeah, that's super weird because I actually don't know anyone who refers to you as D-Mac, so I don't know how they would know me, and particularly enough for you to sort of be complimenting me, right? You know, sort of saying good things about me to them. So it's
right. Well, the thing that you have to understand is that it's like they'll ask about you, and then that's what I say.
Are you okay? You seem a little bit flustered, like you're all over the.
What's up? No, you just put me on the spot a little bit. Is what's happening here. You put me on the spot a little bit.
Okay, no worries.
I wasn't really ready to talk about this, so you kind of put me on the spot a little bit. So it's a bit unfair of you.
But I mean, it's something that you did say that sort of you could immediately, sort of recall. So I just sort of thought that there might be something in there, but no, I guess not.
Turns out not.
Yeah.
Fine. We don't have to dwell on our relationship.
We'll circle back. We'll circle back.
We'll take
this offline.
That's
we'll circle back. We'll double click into this a little bit later. Yeah.
Ooh, I hate it. And I've bumped my webcam. I'm so sorry, guys. My setup this week is I've literally redone my entire setup, and it's all in shambles. I apologize. Look, James, this time, so he's got his arm over the door.
Yep.
This time I bit him.
Okay. Yeah. And there it is. And that's
there it is.
And that's the very fine line in the workplace where you sort of go from regular interaction to a full-blown crime has been committed. Yeah. And then they took to the internet to really tell on themselves. Okay.
I also love I love the tone of this Reddit post, by the way. The way that this is being written is like somebody who is imprisoned by this scenario, because it goes, this time I bit him. I don't know. His arm was in front of my face. My hands were full. I know from experience he almost never moves, and I'm really busy right now.
Right, yeah.
It's like this, it's like looking back on the moment of being like, what have I done? What did I do? So that's good. In any case, I bit him over his sleeve, pulled back, and we just sort of stared at each other for a second because, wow.
Yeah.
He finally got his feet under him figuratively and retaliated by stomping on my feet. I was in ballet flats, he had heel dress shoes and shoving me. As I'm regaining my balance and trying to save my feet, I dropped my mug, which shattered. At that point, he stopped and bent to pick up the shards. I ducked into the office and shut and locked the door.
Okay.
That took a turn.
Yeah.
Didn't help him pick up the shards. Not helping him pick up the shards angered him more. So
okay, was he I've read that probably a little bit differently. My assumption when he immediately went for the shards was as a weapon.
Right.
Yeah.
You might be right there. I've since apologized. He accepted gratefully while admitting no fault on his part. This next sentence will shock you to your core. This office is bad.
Okay. Yeah.
We didn't see that coming. It's warping my perceptions of normal behavior. I know there is no one above us who would address this issue with him, and short of quitting, I have to deal with him every day. What is the right way to deal with difficult coworkers in these situations? Just keep arguing, walk away, and reschedule the meeting. There are no magic words to deal with impossible people, but how do I reason with myself mentally to stop myself from going down this road again? Thank you for because once I chomped once, I might chomp again.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you've become afraid of yourself, really. I'm afraid of what I'm capable of. I've bitten once. I can't guarantee I won't bite again.
Sort of the Hulk style, like, you know, when the beast comes out, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Thank you for considering my question. I suppose most everything is solved by walking away, but I feel helpless and clearly spiral into wild behavior when at a loss. So a few kind of things attracted me to this piece of advice. The first was when she bit her boss.
Okay,
that was a big kind of thing that attracted me. And then the second was how confused she seems by her own behavior. That really is the thing that I think is just like this, but like it's like kind of like she went into like a red haze and it just like happened, like it just kind of like happened to her, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And so I think that's what we need to sort of help out with here is like how do we get this guy to move without biting him? I think is really the crux of the advice here.
Yeah. Because I feel like there's plenty of different things that you can tackle when it comes to this question, and it's, you know, how can I curb my biting is probably one.
Right. Well, but if he's moved already, you won't need to bite him. So I'm thinking of sort of a large piston or something that you can sort of engage that would move him from the doorway and then retract, and then the coast is clear. You know, sort of a big piston system.
Right.
Kind of push him out of the way. Kind of scoop him out of the way, if you will. Is sort of one solution I thought of.
You're a bit of a techie guy, right? You know tech.
Oh, mate, computers.
You constantly refer to yourself as a tech head. You're a massive
that's actually on my
head.
business. That's on my business card. It says DC McNeil, author, tech head, maverick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is there a because we all know that there are sort of I don't know if they're like if geofencing is sort of like a thing that is relevant to them, but you put like a shock collar on a dog and then you sort of create there's sort of like a fence area, like an invisible fence, and then once they go past that, it shocks them. Is there a reverse version of that where it's if you get too close to something, it shocks them? And then
we could probably we could cook something up.
Okay, and then my next question is, what are sort of the legal issues around potentially putting a shock collar on my colleague, locking it, and me obviously being the only person that has the key, me wearing some type of device that if he comes near me, it shocks him. Yeah.
I'm they're writing a bunch of stuff down. They look a bit frantic. They're holding up all right. It looks they're holding up a piece of paper to the glass and it says, "Don't do that." So I think we're probably in the clear. I mean, the lawyers seem.
You know what? You know what I'm sick of? You know what I'm sick of? This goddamn legal red tape around innovation. You know what I mean? It's like you are the lead shoes. Okay.
Yes. Mark Zuckerberg.
I'm trying to fly. You know what I mean?
We're trying to move fast and break things. Okay. A la Facebook, a la Mark Zuckerberg. Okay. And what they're doing is they're telling us that's Napster. LimeWire.
Yeah.
What is wrong with our brains?
All the
we said that at the same time. I like that we associate music piracy with Napster and LimeWire. That was spooky. That's the second time this episode we've said the same word at the same time, James. We're so in
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. It's really disrespectful. You could have just said this. It's fine. It's whatever. This is why I tell people that you suck, by the way. You do shit like that. You embarrass me in front of the podcast like that.
Right.
That's why I tell people that you suck.
No, that's weird because you specifically said that you say nice things about me.
What?
So I'm sort of confused.
When did I?
confused about which.
Yeah, I've for
Again,
sure
we'll take it offline. I'll get the VOD
Yeah.
for this, and we'll circle back, double click.
Get
you
the
know,
what?
really.
You
What's
get
that?
the what?
It's the footage. I'll get the footage. Yeah.
How it goes? It sort of digital graffiti. It goes away. I don't understand.
I've got another tech head.
This?
I've got another tech head who sort of.
Oh, they consider reverse engineering.
Yeah, they've got it. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right, that's cool.
Technical aspects of it, how it works.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I
think it's a good idea. I think geofencing yourself, smart.
Yeah, sort of like
an
invisible sort of repellent, you know.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, like, could you sort of construct a scenario where he would want to avoid you, like maybe like you know how like when you're walking down the street and someone has a big umbrella out and like it can like jab you in the eyes and stuff. Maybe you just sort of always have an umbrella.
Right. Yeah. No, that is one of my biggest concerns. For
do you not think about that when someone's coming to you with an umbrella and you think that dang thing could poke my GD eyes out if it came near my eyes, came near my eyeballs?
I'll say this: it's honestly never come up, not even once.
But you're so tall. How is this not just a thing you think of? Seriously?
Yeah, literally.
I'm not doing
never.
a bit. I think about this every time I see someone walking with an umbrella. I think to myself, these peepers need to be protected.
Right. Sorry, just really quickly.
Yeah.
Really quickly. If you could sort of give me sort of a reenactment of what it looks like when you see someone with an umbrella approaching you, and then sort of any sort of maneuvers that you would take to protect yourself, you know.
Okay.
From the umbrella.
For sure. All right, give me a second. How much bandwidth do I have? Okay, I got a little bit. So hang on. I'm strolling.
I will just say that Filthy Scab says when you have those glasses, the 6 can't pierce your eyes. So that is sort of my natural defense, you know, so I really don't have to worry about that. But I'm
strutting down the street and that's an umbrella. And I duck and I protect the peepers.
Yeah.
And then I sort of what I do is I'll turn my face away from them so that the stabby bits can't get me, and I'll sort of crab-like maneuver around them with my sort of, you know, bum toward them so that they can't. That way, my face is, you know, is protected as it can get.
Definitely.
You know?
I would say that you really opened yourself up there for sort of an onslaught of potential attacks, sort of in other alternative ways, and you're highly robbable when you're doing something like that. So
yeah, my cake's pretty exposed as well.
Definitely, I would, and you sort of just do it explicitly like that as well. You're sort of not trying to hide.
No, it sort of happens in a panic a lot of the time. Like you can imagine, like it's quite a flustering scenario when it's occurring. So I'm sort of
a sea of
frantic.
People open, sort of split apart, and then you see one person coming with an umbrella, and you sort of begin to sweat.
You know that scene in The Matrix where it's like the woman in red, and then it catches your attention, then suddenly, bam, it's an agent. It's like that, but umbrella. The second the umbrella goes up, I realize that it's too late. I've already fucked up. Like I'm already in trouble.
Well, if I could sort of just give you a potential, sort of a less obvious way to deal with it. Maybe you could pretend that you're getting a phone call or something, or that you're sort of looking around for someone, and then you get to turn your back to them, and then sort of that way you sort of just get to remove the squatting down and the pointing and the crab walking and all of the other weird shit that sort of comes along with that. But
the difficulty with that is no one calls me, and I don't have any friends that I'd be looking around for because they don't need to know that. So
they don't need to know that.
Oh, it's like a lie. You want me to lie? Yeah. You want me to be a liar? You're asking me to lie.
In this particular instance, fucking oath, cunt. Fucking oath.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I'm glad we have that legal disclaimer because Jesus, talk about dobbing on yourself. Like, wow. I didn't realize you're a liar. That's cool. That's good to know. Encouraging people to lie.
If you got fucking look, all I'm gonna say is like, you sort of pop down, squat, start doing a crab walk. Someone's gonna take that as a threat. Okay. And if tomorrow I get a phone call, right? Because I'm obviously in your phone in case of emergency, and then I get a phone call and there's David's in the hospital. Something about he crab walked in front of a bunch of guys and they beat 7 shades of shit out of him. I would go, that makes sense. That makes sense, actually.
I see what you're saying, actually. Yeah.
And I would say, just sorry, before he lost consciousness, were you able to ascertain whether he sort of faked that he was meeting up? He didn't do that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I figured he didn't, and that's why he's in the fucking hospital now. Yeah. Okay.
Look, what can I say? I'm not perfect. All right.
Definitely.
I'm not a lying liar. So
yeah,
that's also what I could say about me.
So
I think
that's sort of like a very strange Final Destination type fear that you have. Like when people are on a freeway and they're behind like a truck that has logs on the back, and everyone thinks about the scene in the movie and they go, oh shit, Final Destination. Shit. You see an umbrella and that's your panic. Okay.
It just seems like it would really hurt and do some permanent damage.
Definitely
is the issue that I guess I'm
and
anticipating.
And I understand that you feel that way. Never fucking thought of it once in my life ever. So
that's so weird.
Yeah,
I guess I'm
that's weird. That's weird that I never thought of it. Yeah, that's weird.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
fuck you.
Wow, it's funny that you've decided to flip me off because I actually came prepared for that today. So.
Oh no! What the heck?
No.
That's cheating.
Okay, he's done it to me as well. But there we go. He's done it to you as well. So perfect.
Oh,
so yeah,
that's a bit rude, isn't it?
Well, sort of meeting your energy on that one, but
yeah. I listen. Meeting the goblin energy that I have today, so I get it.
Hey, do you think that problem is solved, or?
I to be completely honest, I think the reverse geotagging is kind of genius.
Thank you.
Other things I was thinking of, and I know I've suggested this before, but I think this would work in the specific scenario, is the Mr. Burns style trapdoor. Because he's always leaning in the office doorway.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, this would work because it's the same place every time.
Mine, my other one is, I'm not proud of this, okay? And again, we have the legal disclaimer, so, nothing can come back to us. But if he has of like a,
what are you gonna say? Oh, no.
Maybe if he has he has like an allergy to something, maybe a nut allergy.
Oh, James.
Could you sort of like spritz some like, sort of like extract some sort of like macadamia oil or something? You know what I mean? Spritz it on you and then when you like sort of you brush past him, that kind of thing. If he wants to get up in my biz all the time and I have to brush past him and I'm rubbing my nut oil on him, there's no good way to say that. There's no good way to say that. But if I sort of brush my nut oil onto him and then he has will he, I'm just saying Pavlovian conditioning, he will start to associate me with all of these rashes that he keeps getting.
I'm willing to say yes, you've solved it if you stop saying nut oil.
I can't
permanently.
And what's interesting about that one is that at no point did you suggest that anyone should fake their own death.
I don't think it's a suitable solution in this scenario. I gotta be honest.
Okay. Well, that's
what it comes down to. It's a pretty good fix for most situations. This one,
or is it?
Oh, wait a minute. Because if the issue is a toxic workplace, moving countries would mean that you're not in the workplace anymore.
A 23-year-old woman in Germany, with help of her friend, found a lookalike on Instagram, killed her in order to stage her own death and start a new life. So I'm just saying that, and that happened fairly recently. So I'm just sort of saying, it's not always the open and closed easy solution to all of your problems. So,
what? This has broken my brain. So she finds someone that looks like her on the internet.
Yeah.
Kills her and then like takes over her life.
Is essentially using her as a body double to fake her own death.
Oh, fake her own death.
So that
that she can. That's how I would do it. Yeah.
So it says, far from being the victim, the woman who had been missing had instead found a lookalike on Instagram, killed her with a friend in order to stage her own death and start a new life. And it's not great when prosecutors are then relaying that story back to you because it probably hasn't gone well for the person, to do with their plan. So
yeah,
so
that's
the case
didn't work, I would say.
The case has been dubbed the doppelganger murder by local media, and arrest warrants on suspicion of murder have now been issued for the woman and her friend, police in the southern city of, the southern city of Ingolstadt, around 50 miles from the north of the regional capital. You get it, in Munich.
I love it.
Obviously,
that's my favorite.
You're always holidaying there. Yeah.
Oh, that's me. Always holidaying internationally, in Munich and the place you said.
I can confirm that the accused 23-year-old female obviously planned to start a new life due to family problems.
Oh no, that got dark. Okay.
Investigations revealed contact to several young ladies during a period of a few weeks. Investigators assumed that under a pretext, she managed to organize a meeting with the later victim. So
That's crazy.
She was sort of trawling through Instagram looking for people that look like her.
How does one even go about that? You can't just put in like a keyword of like a description of someone into Instagram, can you? You can't just be like 5'11", Caucasian, like ginger beard.
So let's say this was you, right? And you were looking to, find a doppelganger to kill.
That's easy. I just go into the app and I type in John Hamm, and then I find,
that's sort of the hashtag that you go for. Yeah.
Because
interesting.
Because we both pretty handsome, pretty handsome, look basically the same. So.
Right. So, and any other sort of hashtag you'd throw in there to narrow down that search? I'd imagine you throw in John Hamm, you're probably going to get a lot of John Hamm fan accounts.
Oh,
John Hamm fan 55.
I'd add official. I'd go John Hamm and then hashtag official. I assume that would work, having not been online for 3 years.
I'm sorry. Is your to just try and understand where your head's at?
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to find a John Hamm like figure?
No,
someone who looks like John Hamm. You're trying to find John Hamm.
Because I look exactly as handsome
yeah.
and like John Hamm. So
right,
as it's pretty well known.
Well, I'll say this: you've chosen a pretty difficult get on that one. So
Hey James, I didn't have a choice. Okay, this wasn't a choice I made. This is just how the universe shook out. That me and John Hamm look very similar and both equally handsome, and so I'm left with no choice. So
sort of bone structure, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, facial structure. So like I'm left with no choice but to kill John Hamm and take his person. Kill John Hamm and use him to stage my own death. Which is I don't want to do it, but if I have to,
definitely. I'm sort of just gonna escape that strange reality that you've sort of concocted in your own mind, and I'm gonna just get back to this strange reality, which says that the mystery began last August, when the body of a woman who had been stabbed to death was found by the parents of the 23-year-old German-Iraqi female in her parked vehicle in Ingolstadt, obviously, where you like to vacay.
I love it.
But a subsequent autopsy raised serious doubts about the identity of the woman. She killed the person and then put their body in her car, and then their body was found by her parents.
The thing about people and bodies.
Yes.
Is that
hold on? I feel like I'm gonna grab a pen and paper because I feel like I'm about to learn something here.
In the last few decades, we got real good at working out who's who, which guy's which guy. Yeah, so I think this is like I've seen a lot of CSI. Yeah, they're really good at knowing which guy is which guy.
Unfortunately,
and I think that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's they did forget
they could tell which guy's which guy.
People no longer just go, does that kind of look like your daughter? And they go, you know what?
Similar.
Yeah, about 75% of the way there. Yeah,
that's
pretty close. Hey,
you know what? It's close. It's close enough. Whatever. Didn't really. This just my daughter. I don't know. Close enough. Maybe. Think so. Did they catch? I need more. What happened?
Subsequent autopsy raised serious doubts about the identity of the woman. The suspects came up with a plan to search for a woman online who looked similar to the German Iraqi, kill her, and place her in such a way that the corpse would be mistaken for the suspect.
Right.
Fiona Brookman, a professor of criminology at the University of South Wales, called the case very unusual, not least because females make up 10% or less of homicide cases. Female-on-female cases are even rarer. Finally, committing a murder in order to fake one's own death. I have never come across a homicide of this kind before, she added.
Wow. that is a kind of crazy unique case. That's what. But so did they get caught, or were they still at large? Do we know?
Oh no, they got caught. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. That's crazy. And when I suggest faking your own death in moving countries, I'm suggesting more in the Simpsons style, where it's like someone sees you go over the waterfall and then you go away forever, kind of thing. Like that's kind of
right.
The style that some people have written into the show and noted that a lot of my advice does seem to be based on the Simpsons television show, and specifically the era that was on television when I was growing up. They have pointed that out, and I think that those accusations are they're wrong. They're mean-spirited, and they're bad. And I would like to say here publicly on the Advisory podcast that you can find on all the podcast catchers of your choice, even the ones that sound made up. I would like to say here that if you think that that's true, that a lot of my ideas do come from The Simpsons, and specifically the era of when I grew up in the early 2000s, late 90s. I thank you to take that opinion, and then what I want you to do with that opinion is write it out into sort of a 200-word kind of description, and then post that against the advisory in the review box with a 5-star review on your podcast catcher of choice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sort of using it to. No, I can get behind that. Yeah.
So do that.
Use it to get reviews to the podcast. No, that's good.
Yeah. And as a reminder, if you do leave a review on your podcast catcher of choice and it is 5 stars, I might read it. And if it's a bit funny, I might read it out on the show. So that's also.
And he will, of course, he will read it out. He will read it out as Matthew McConaughey. He has said it before.
Oh, no.
It's written in blood.
Whoever you want.
Oh, okay. Whomever they want. Okay.
Yeah. The rule is whoever you want, I'll do the impression. And I'm famously great at impressions, so you'll know exactly who it is.
Of course. And so easy for you, sort of doing that whole the Simpsons style faking your own death, is you sort of just get to throw off a sort of a cardboard, life-size 1-for-1 cardboard cutout of John Hamm off the top of
really
a cliff. Yeah, it's very nice.
You can just buy that. If I go to ebay.com, eBay John Hamm cutout. Let me see how much I can get a John Hamm cutout for. Life-size cutout, eBay John Hamm. That is going to run me a what's 70 USD in AUD? That's going to run me about $100. I can get a life-size cutout of myself and or actor John Hamm. So that's kind of a bargain. So
I will also just say that if you did want to cut down on shipping time, shipping quality, that kind of stuff, because you don't want to. It's going to be difficult to ship a 1-for-1 scale cardboard cutout of John Hamm. It does look like that you can go to Officeworks and get one printed out yourself for $129. So that's good, actually.
What do you mean by that? Do they just have a service where you can just? I need you to explain what you mean by that.
They offer a service just called life-size cutouts.
No, they don't. What? James, do you mean I could get a life-size cutout of myself?
I've prepped a lot of printing work in my time doing graphic design work, and I honestly don't know how I would really go about setting up that print file. What are my margins? What's my bleed looking like on?
Where are the guidelines in the Photoshop document? Like,
oh my god, they have print guidelines.
Flustered by this.
These are general print guidelines for their entire printing service. That is a letdown.
That's unfortunate. I mean, that's pretty exciting though. If I'm being
we're not obviously sponsored by Officeworks, so I don't want to toot their horn too much here. But
no free rides.
I will say that a benefit is that they do come self-supporting. No need for any extra accessories to display your message. These display cutouts come with an attached strut for easy assembly and self-support, ideal for displaying in your shop front. Perfect. Eye-catching, a fun and unique way to display your business message. It's a life-size cutout of a human being. What message am I displaying? Unless I have a banner that says, "Oh, all the bloody local celebs are chuffed to hang out at my biz," and then I just have life-size cutouts of, I've got a Beyonce in there. I've got a John Hamm kicking it.
Yeah. Is that like fraud? Because they haven't consented Like, is that fraud to like put words in them? Like, you're kind of lying about what they've said. If I bought a life-size cutout of John Hamm, whom I look exactly like, and then I put a speech bubble and make him say a goof him up. Yeah. I make him say, go subscribe to the Advisory podcast or something. Is that fraud because you're misrepresenting John Hamm? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I think as long as in your message it doesn't say, signed, sealed, and certified by me, John Hamm, then I think you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the lawyers are nodding, so I think you've nailed that.
And in that particular case, I do feel like if we were misrepresenting anything with the likeness of John Hamm, we have a pretty good case to argue that that's just a photo of you.
Oh, because you're clearly not you're not animate. You're not John Hamm. You're a cardboard cutout of John Hamm.
Just be like, that's no. They go, well, you can't
that's
actually.
Me.
Yeah. You can't have
exactly like John
exactly.
Hamm.
Yeah.
You make a good point.
You can't actually have John Hamm saying, I personally, John Hamm, love the Advisory. Go and give them 5 stars. You're going to be chuffed when you find out the vocal range that David has for his impressions. And then they come into the so obviously you can't have that. And then we just go, oh no, that's a cardboard cut out of David.
That's me. Because he looks startlingly like famous handsome man John Hamm. James, let me ask you a very not to sorry, was that the end of the story that we just did we just kind of dipped our toes into?
Yeah,
obviously I'm flabbergasted by the fact that Officeworks lets you do that, and I will be doing that at some point for a joke.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's worth every cent.
Fucking sensational news.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know I could just do that. Because like that's a really good way to mess with somebody. Yeah. Like imagine I'm like, oh yeah, just like come over for dinner. Like I'll do us some nice ribs. Like I got this new recipe I've been working on. I've been banging on about it for a while, and I want you to come and try it. And you walk into my apartment, like you rock up, you got a nice bottle of red and a few beers, and you walk into my apartment, and there is a 6'4" life-size printout of you just staring back at you. Staring back, eye for eye, staring back.
Me? Of me?
It's of you.
Okay,
just because that would, maybe even better. It's sort of peeping at you from behind the curtains in the bedroom.
Nah.
And you catch a glimpse of it, like, and you're like, what the fuck was that?
That has the horror film Maniac. That has that energy written all over it. Where, because I'm going to come in, I'm going to think David's going to fucking scalp me to take my real hair to put on one of his James mannequins. I'm out. I'm not even making up an excuse. I might just sort of smash the wine bottle on the counter and point it at you until I back away and find the door while never taking my eyes off of you. And then obviously once I get out, I run, and then I sort of have nothing to do with you.
You'll find the door locks from the outside. So you're not going anywhere, pal.
I don't know why my first thought was to my very first thought was to ruin my own face with the bottle so that you couldn't cut this out and have a little like James puppet. Like, yeah, I don't know why that was my first thought. I was like, you know what?
If I can't have it, no one can.
Me. Yeah. He's got me, but he ain't getting me.
Oh, he went for like the Silence of the Lambs. Like, he can't wear my skin as a suit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, incredible. Yeah, that's haunting.
And then really at that point, it's like you just have to let me go because you're like, it's what I wanted.
It's a waste. Yeah. James, I wanted to ask you this because I don't know if you will. Do you remember on an episode of the Advisory OG, if you will?
Okay.
I told you a story, and I was reminded of this because I had dinner with my sister-in-law last night. We drank way too much red wine, and she reminded me of the story when I was living with them. Do you remember the story I told you about the when I was living with my brother and his wife, the neighbor who dropped a letter in the mailbox, basically being like, "Hey, my kid is watching you when you shower. Could you close your blinds?" Do you remember this?
I do remember. Yeah. I vaguely remember something about the people, they were next door to you and they could see down and in.
Well, so it was the other way. So they were next door to us, and they could from the kid's bedroom, you could see up into the master bedroom, and my sister-in-law would, because it's her bedroom, have a shower, come out, and then get dressed right into the bedroom.
Right. Yeah.
And this kid who was like maybe 14 or 15 or something like that would skip school all the time. He would sit in the driveway at like 11 a.m. in his school uniform and smoke weed very frequently, which sounds like a delightful, if I'm being honest, a little jealous that he just got to do that. That sounds very
setting the tone for everyone in the neighborhood, letting them know who's boss.
Really let you know what he's all about.
I took today off to staunch all of yous, and I'm gonna sit here and just blaze out, and I want all of you to see
uniform
it and
as well. It's bold.
It's a bold
and then
move.
what he would do, and so the way that my sister-in-law described it is she would sit there. So when she was in her bedroom, she realized, because we got the note. I think my brother was at the Gold Coast. He was doing all the networking for the Commonwealth Games or whatever for Optus. And we got this note, and we were like, "Huh? How does that make sense?" And we went to her bedroom, and we looked out the window, and you could just see, like, from the window directly into this 14-year-old's bedroom.
Okay. Yeah.
And he was always watching porn, like always.
Yeah.
And the note was like, the note was like, you
at no point she wasn't like closing blinds or anything, or she thought that no one can see me from this vantage point.
She just was like, obviously no one can see me. I'm on the top floor. Like and she just never thought to look all the way down and like check the angle, because why would you ever do that?
Yes. Okay.
And and like the note was very much of this tone of like, I need you, like, you should be closing your blinds because my son is looking at you.
Right.
Rather than like, I don't know, parenting your child who spends most of his time skipping school and smoking weed in your driveway. And we were talking about it last night. And a detail I had entirely forgotten that I think I omitted the first time is not only that, but what my sister-in-law reminded me of last night is that also, the bottom floor bathroom that I was in, if the blinds were open, which they were, because in summer it was so hot that you just needed the airflow, he could also see into the bottom floor bathroom where I was showering.
Jesus, this kid is set up. He has full rear window style view of all of the fucking zones of the home.
You'd have to like just like you would have to design a room to be placed in that spot to get those views. Like it's the geometry on it is like so precise. Like the viewing at like it just like some architect was like, this will be, I bet they won't notice.
It's too perfect for someone to be like, no, this just happened. Yeah. You know, organically, accidentally. And they're like, no.
100%.
This was designed. It has to have been. Right.
It was so and I was dying laughing because I was like, I completely forgotten that detail where it's like this. I imagine this 14-year-old kid being like,
I'm sorry, but she has an excuse, okay, where she just thought, obvious, you know, if I can't see you, you can't see me, you know, so she didn't even realize that anyone could see in. You're in the downstairs bathroom and you've just kept the window open.
It's
so
like
and you're presumably on fucking eye level with this room at this point. So like she is totally obviously not her fault at all because she didn't know. You on the other hand are just fucking kicking it full. Just in full view of open windows, dude.
Well, it's not a window. It's like one of those. They have them all the time in Australia. I don't know if they have them other places, but like, they're like it's a window frame, but they have like the vertical, so the horizontal blinds, and there's like one thing which you flip up to close them. Jump to a lever on the side that shuts them
or whatever.
Up. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
and it didn't occur to me because of the angle. Because from my perspective, if you're looking at if you're me,
yes,
they're like this. So they're kind of like flipped up a little bit and the air's coming in.
Yeah.
And what that means is that because he's slightly more elevated than the bathroom, he's just looking straight in. Like,
I saw a video on something similar to this recently. It was like a TikTok video where someone was basically saying the position that everyone has their blinds pulled down in, everyone needs to flip them up the other way, because if you're outside, you can see in, but you can't see out. But if you have them the other way, you can see out, but no one can see in. And it was this big like revelatory moment where it was going around TikTok and everyone was like, "Oh my God, I need to change my blinds." So that's what happened to you in this situation. You've had them flipped, thinking no one can see in, but he can see in, but you can't see out.
Exactly.
Oh no.
And so that was I was like, oh, and I went, yeah, I think probably he was more interested in the other view. I think maybe he complained about being able to see into my bathroom, and hence the letter.
Right. Yeah. Also, I love the idea of a parent taking absolutely no ownership and control over that situation whatsoever, and decides to. I mean, that's what an insane thing to even do, right? Instead of like, oh, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk into my son's bedroom where I know my son and I have a conversation with my son, which is so much easier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draft up a letter, go to my neighbors and inform them of the situation. There's no way.
It was typed as well. They typed it and printed it.
Oh my God. And you know, they don't have a home printer, so they took it to Officeworks.
Maybe they printed it at work. You never know.
Oh,
the weird thing is the daughter was super normal. She was older, super normal, really lovely, just a very nice person. And he was just a complete burnout. And they just kind of foisted all of that responsibility onto everyone else except themselves. And I completely forgotten about it until she brought it up. But like, what an insane thing to do. Truly.
I mean, go. Can you not do anything in your own house, in the room that you own, to go and stop him from perving on all the fucking neighbors? Like, I just, the fact that you would go and inform everyone around you and essentially make it their problem to fix is unfathomable.
Having a conversation with him and being like, hey, it's like ethically wrong to do this and you should not do it for that reason. And like, don't get me wrong, if you happen, like, if for whatever reason you happen to look in that direction, you cop a peek, whatever, like, that's the way of the world. You sometimes see someone naked, whatever. But like, to not have the conversation of like, hey, you're a growing person, you should be developing an ethical framework for how you approach reality, to instead be like, no. If I just control reality, I don't have to take any accountability for my son's behaviors.
See, that's crazy. That's one way to approach it, to come in and have a discussion about sort of the ethical nature of not constantly looking in on your neighbors and sort of peeking in to see what they're up to, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And another way to address that is to kick his door in and say, cunt, if I find you looking out the window again and fucking staring at our neighbors and I have to fucking go over there and print out another goddamn letter at work, because have you seen the cost that fucking office? 81 cents they want for a black and white print. What am I, fucking made of money? Anyway, it's not what I'm here for. If I catch you perving again, I'm a fucking turn the internet off for a week. And I know you love the internet. Hit him in their pockets. Hit him where it hurts. He's not going to be able to get on Valorant. You know, the decay is going to come in. You know that he's going to all of his rankings are going to slip. He's going to fall out of
can't play the new WoW expansion
into less than platinum. You know what I mean?
And it's just like making stuff up now.
I don't play fucking Valorant, dude. I don't know what.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it sounded real.
Gold?
Huh?
Definitely. There'd be plat, and then there'd be gold. And you know he cares about it. So
yeah, he does. But here's the other thing that I think is so, like, I'm reflecting on it now. At that age, all I was doing was, so like, I'd finished my uni degree.
Mm-hmm.
Literally all I was doing for, like, I would say, like, so I was working a full-time job, coming home, and literally all I was doing was I would get home, I would work out, and like we had a little gym thing that we'd set up on the back deck, So I'd work out and like, cause it's like 30 degrees. I do that without a shirt on because like it's fucking hot, right? I would work out, have a shower, and then sit in front of my computer, drink beer, and like edit podcasts. Like I was just like literally every single night, or like edit videos.
Yeah.
Like we were putting out like, I think at one point 2 videos a day across the channels that we were doing in the podcast and stuff. So like that was all I was doing. And then I'd like I would have a whiskey, go to bed, just do the same thing over and over again. And I think in retrospect, as I reflect on it, if I had discovered if I smoked as much weed as he did, I think I would have been a much happier person. But the idea that like, and it was the weirdest thing too, because it was the 2-month stretch where Jimmy was at the Gold Coast doing all this stuff at the Commonwealth Games. So it's just me and Nikki and like their 2-year-old or whatever. And they could have just like come over and had a conversation with us. Like it's a really friendly neighborhood. Like we chatted to all of the neighbors. Like we got to know everybody around us, because like it's just one of those kind of neighborhoods where people wanted to chat and like get to know each other. And it's the one time where I would have not typed that into a Word document and I would have just like it's, and the weird thing is they talk to us about other stuff.
Yeah.
Like at one point they were like, oh, we're having this party in like a few nights and we just wanted to let you know because it might be kind of late. And there might be a lot of cars parked on the street. We've told them, I guess, not to like park you guys in, but just heads up, if there is an issue, just come over and knock on our door. Like
definitely.
We had talked to them before about things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't want to, because again, you're my friend and I only say the best things about you. But you can't see why they wouldn't have wanted to come over and have a fucking chit chat about
I get
this thing in
No.
particular. You're saying, hey, guys, what's the fucking... Oh, yeah. Hey, so you're going out to your car in the morning, you're heading off to work, and so's the next door neighbor. Oh, yeah, Mary, got your fucking letter in the mailbox, by the way. Yeah. What the fuck is this bullshit? All right? We talked about the car park situation before. You know, how fucking Matt down the street's feeding the possums, so now we're having like a weird problem with all the fucking possum piss and shit everywhere. And so me and you, we have chats, all right? What do you mean you couldn't come around and tell me that I'm being constantly monitored by your teenage son? This weird Shia LaBeouf style Rear Window Disturbia setting where he's constantly looking into my house? What do you mean you couldn't come around and have a chat about it?
My point there, is that we already had a relationship.
Yes,
I'm
definitely.
not saying it wouldn't be uncomfortable.
And they probably didn't want to sour that relationship by having an uncomfortable in-person, one-on-one conversation about, hey, my son has been perving on you guys.
The note basically was like, it killed the relationship. Like, don't do it at all. Fix your kid.
Right.
Why I sound like I don't know why I did it, Jerry. Fix your kid.
Yeah. What's the
deal with kids?
Right.
And the bedrooms. They're always looking at boobies through the window.
Yeah.
You know, kind of Jerry Seinfeld
especially, I will say in her defense, that now the sister-in-law, she obviously couldn't have known that was happening. That's on her and her son. You finishing up your shower and standing in front of a fully opened window is absolutely worth her coming over and addressing and saying, please, I've seen you. I know that you get out on that deck and you pop that shirt off so the whole neighborhood can see them nips fly, all right? When you do your workouts, and then I know you jump on into the shower and you keep that window open too.
No.
I don't know, David, I don't know what your obsession is with getting the whole neighborhood to see them nips, okay? But please just close the window when you're having a shower, please, for the love of God.
It was when I was in the shower. Like the window angle was because of how the blinds worked and where it was. When I was in the shower, that was when he could see me, I assume.
So much worse. That is...
Yeah.
I don't know how you explain that to me. Like, that was... You're like, no. That's not what happened.
No,
this is what happened. And then you detailed a way worse thing.
No, because it's not like I was doing something. Like I wasn't like fucking around in the bath, like doing something weird naked or what. Like I wasn't like,
right.
let me just stand at this window and
I know, but
gaze
you said,
upon my kingdom.
You said very specifically that you would have the window open because it was so hot. Just turn the water down.
It's not a window.
Just turn the water down, dude.
No, you can't.
Make the water that,
you know how hot Brisbane.
The water that is now cascading over you, just make that cold. That's all
there
you
was
need
no
to
aircon in that house. You know how Brisbane is. There was, you needed that airflow. Okay.
Not
I can't believe
mid,
I'm defending.
not to mid shower when you can control the temperature of the water that is hitting your body. Okay?
I cannot believe you're not on my side on this. This is outrageous.
I'm on the side of the sister-in-law who has, because she didn't know what was happening and she couldn't have known.
I didn't know either until they wrote the note.
You on the other hand, I think your situation is completely different. Okay,
this is slander. This is ridiculous.
That I'm just saying that there's a lot of alternative options for you, like very specifically turning the water down. So I think yours was much more about letting the entire neighborhood see your nips and much less about some airflow bizarre story that you've cooked up about not having aircon. Okay, so
hey Andy, can I sue James? Does our employment contract prohibit that? Can I sue him for slander? Oh, he's shaking his head.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, you can't do that. So
fuck. You snuck that one in there, huh?
Well,
got that in the T's and C's.
Well, it's just sort of, Digital Dana sort of covers everything that we say on the podcast to sort of absolve us of it. So
okay, but can I sue him for real?
Oh, here's a great one, Andy.
He's shaking his head
Andy,
again.
You'll love this one. Oh, you'll love this. Get ready. I'm just joking. Yeah, solved it.
Fuck.
Solved it.
Shit.
Hey, Andy. I was just a joke. I wasn't being serious about any of that. Good stuff. Okay.
Wow. Yeah. I think my own team has turned against me here. That's what's occurred. This is wow. This is like I feel, and I don't want to be dramatic, but I feel like what's happened here is you're trying to cut me out of the business. You're trying to pit Andy and Kev against me.
Definitely.
And you're having a laugh while you do it as well, which is that you're enjoying yourself, which is the worst part. Okay, this is supposed to be a partnership, and I see you guys giggling. You think this is funny. They think it's funny. Did you plan this?
Well, it's a little bit funny. At the end of the day, what can you really do when it's a little bit funny?
Here we go. Yeah, victim blame. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
No, mate. No one's victim blaming you. It's just that at the end of the day, we really, and we've had a discussion about this, we sort of want the best players on the team that we can get. And you just sort of you've got the best people for the job, you can really sort of just you sort of have the best output. Everyone's happier, so you just sort of want to keep it's about keeping the team happy. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So
yeah, James, it sounds to me like you're shilling the left agenda. It sounds to me like you're a big fan of go work, go broke. And that's what you're doing to this company, to this team.
Certainly not. No.
And it sounds to me like you're attacking the fundamental values that we have, and you're doing so in support of cultural Marxism, and I won't stand for it, quite frankly. So
definitely,
I will be starting my own.
Andy, how does that look as a potential sort of replacement? What do you think? It looks good on the monitor. Perfect.
Oh, he looks very happy with that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's kind of smug about it, actually. Why's he got popcorn?
Sorry, Andy looks smug, or
yeah, Andy
John
kind of
looks.
Andy, he's got his feet up on the desk, and he's sort of flinging handfuls of popcorn at his face and trying to catch as much as he looks like he's having a great time at my demise.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
We'll chat about it. Yeah, because no, I mean, doing it live, it looked good. Yeah. So yeah, good. So if solved that. Keep your nips to yourself. Probably
Okay. Well,
yeah,
it feels like victim blaming, but James, hey,
yep.
James,
that's
the episode. I think
that's it. Yeah.
That's hey. Let me just consult the.
When do we have? When do we have to keep him till?
What?
End of Feb. Okay.
I thought my contract was for 3 years. Why?
No, no. We do we do core team is 12 months, and then we re-up every 12. And
sorry, who's we?
Sort of,
I thought I co-owned the business. Who's
co-owned what? What do you?
Black Swan Society.
You have that chat with him, Andy. Yeah. It doesn't feel right to do it now, sort of on it.
Are you gonna?
Let's just stick to the show.
Are you Zuckerberging me? Are you Zuckerberging me, bro?
No.
Wow. Well,
we are Zuckerberging.
This has been.
Yeah.
You have to Andrew Garfield your ass.
He's not going to. Yeah, empty threads. I know. Yeah, Andy, you could fucking Andy. Have you thought about taking up a career in podcasting before?
He's got a face.
Dirty dog. A dirty dog. You know, he loves his podcasts and his live streams, doesn't he? And usurping the throne in a way. So
I knew I shouldn't have hired him. It's a mistake.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's the episode.
You kept saying I need a shark. I need to hire a shark. I'm gonna get a shark in here.
Sort of.
So.
Yeah, I meant kind of. Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. Hey, this was maybe the last episode of the advisory. If they fire me, thank you so much for watching or listening.
Sorry, guys. That just to reiterate to everyone, the advisory. Tune in next week. Obviously, same bad channel, same bad place, same bad time. We'll come up with a new tagline for that. We've never really liked that one. But no, we'll be back next week. The proverbial we. Will, that could be. Hey, just don't get too attached to things, and it's 2023, so it's all embrace the new, embrace change, and maybe different faces, but still the same chuckles, which is sort of good. So,
well,
yeah, you were saying?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of the Advisory Podcast. We do appreciate the heck out of it. If you want to follow us on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, we are. Sorry, I got that wrong. TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter at BLK Swan Society. That is TikTok, the Gram, and Twitter, as long as Twitter is still around, at BLK Swan Society. You can find us on YouTube to watch the VODs and all the other content we do. YouTube.com/@BlackSwanSociety. That is YouTube.com/@BlackSwanSociety. And if you're thinking to yourself, man, I wish I could have commented live and joined my good friends Youngo Piat and Filthy Scav to comment live on this podcast, you can find us every week. We stream this show live on twitch.tv/BlackSwanSociety at 6 p.m. AEST. That is 6 p.m. AEST. Twitch.tv/BlackSwanSociety. That is where you can find us. And if you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, you're sitting there in your car and you're listening to the audio version of this show because you're still stuck in the audio past and you haven't joined the video future, and you're thinking to yourself, I'd love to write these boys an email. I wish they had an email. You can email us blackswansociety.mail@gmail.com. That is blackswansociety.mail@gmail.com. You can find all of those links in the show notes of this episode. And if you're looking at your podcast catcher of choice right now to find those notes, we would appreciate the heck out of it if you gave us a rating or a review on your podcast catcher of choice, whether that's a comment, it's a 5-star review, whatever it is on your podcast catcher of choice. It helps more people find the show, which is what we love, because we love more people having a goofy good time with us. And if you give us a 5-star review on your podcast platform in-app, I might read it out on the show if it's funny and interesting. We appreciate the heck out of it, but to be completely candid with you, the best way you can support us is to send this show to one person you think might enjoy it and say, hey, check him out. I like it.
Kick the door in and say, oi, cunt. You fucking you listen to this shit right now, or I'm turning off the internet for a week.
Yeah. That's what you do. That's our recommendation this week. We appreciate the heck out of you watching or listening. This is a really exciting project we're working on. We are part of Black Swan Society, which is a creative collective where we are trying to just break all of the fucking rules and break shit as we make really creative and interesting
Hold on
things.
a second. I think I see a rule over there. I'm just going to go break it really quick. You keep talking. I'm going to go break this rule.
Go break that rule. We seriously appreciate it. We'll be back same bad time, same bad channel next week.
It's made out of aluminum, this bloody rule.
Oh, Jesus. Do you need help?
No, I got it.
Okay. Look, we this is the advisory. We thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll be back next week with more hot, fresh advice with your two favorite advice boys, James and David. Thank you so much for watching or listening. How'd you go with breaking that rule?
Fucking kicked its ass, mate.
Kicked its ass, mate. Well, have a good week, everybody. We'll see you same time, same place. Goodbye.
There's another bloody rule over there. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, mate. There's so many bloody rules. We're gonna
get it.
Breaking all these rules. You know, breaking down walls, breaking down barriers. See you next time.
Bye.
I've got stuff. What do you mean? What do you mean? What was that? What was that pause? What was that pause? I've got stuff. I don't hear you breaking any barriers. I don't hear you crunching down any fucking. Nothing. Just nothing.
What a toxic episode.
It's still going, by the way. We're still here. Okay.
Yeah.
There's time to redeem ourselves.
What a toxic episode.
You know what? It's that type of energy. You know, guys, if you want to submit your reels, your submission tapes.
Wow.
You can also send that to blackswordsociety.mail@gmail.com.
Wow. Wow.
No. I'm saying maybe we're looking for like a third person. We're not looking for a third, guys. We're just looking for a second. Just so you guys know that. Yeah. So send your reels, send your tape, looking for a third person, second person. And you know, that'd be fun, I reckon. Get a third, second person up in here. And sounds good. And we will see you next week. Also, put something just so we know that you've sort of you're actually reading the job listing. If you can put something in the cover letter about breaking barriers or breaking rules, that'd be great as well.
The TV show.
Spoilers. Don't put any spoilers in your cover letter. We'll see you next week.
Bye.